All right, it's time for the morning steam for an NFL Sunday with Mindy Hahn. I'm Ramon Scott. Mindy, we've made it to NFL Sunday off yesterday's massive college football card. I don't know what we learned, but we might have learned that maybe there's a bit. Maybe the SEC is coming back a little bit. Maybe the SEC isn't all that. Uh, those elite teams didn't really. Well, Alabama smashed, but Georgia saw.
Georgia. Yeah, to I don't know. I thought kind of a shaky Missouri team all season. So it was one of those, is Missouri playing that well or is Georgia playing that bad? I thought Missouri played pretty well in that game, actually.
Yeah, and I don't know. I wasn't exactly overwhelmed by the results. I finished a little bit above 500 there, but certainly. Uh, well, I thought we did better on the show. The consensus plays were, mediocre. I thought, but we'll have a good day today. See what you got in NFL. I can't wait to see what you got today on this NFL card. Let's go over to Tony'sPicks.com. Take a look what's going on with the website as we prep for the day. Thanks for joining us. Love to hear from you in the chat. You can comment. Put your comments right on screen. We want to hear your picks and flash them up there on the screen when we're talking about the NFL card. We'll also talk a little Major League Baseball, just 4 or 5 games left for every team right now. And there's about 7 games today that have impact still in the postseason. There's also 3 games in the NHL preseason, 3 in the NBA preseason. There's a bunch of soccer from all the major leagues around the world, and a little bit here in the United States and Mexico as well. So the GM goes 3-0 yesterday. We can take a peek at what he was up to. Promote him today as our top capper, coming through with Washington State on the money line against Cal. I had a premium winner there on the under, and a lot of people were going over. Wake Forest, I think we had a nice call on that. I think we talked about Wake Forest and Illinois. Mindy in the Big Ten. What'd you see with Illinois yesterday?
Yeah, we did have a nice Illinois win. Not sure what happened with Wisconsin. They seem to just kind of be off their game, maybe off their game plan, or is it a Bielema that was getting revenge on an old team? Wisconsin just doesn't look like that old running team that we remember, the folks that would put up 200 to 300 yards rushing each game. Hasn't just been that way. And the Big Ten parity seems to be kind of getting a little bit, shorter in there too. It's starting to shrink. You're getting a lot of teams that are matching real well. Kind of surprised with that Minnesota game, surprised a little bit with that Penn State game. So yeah, I mean, it's, maybe I'm surprised with Nebraska too, right? They finally were able to put a little bit together. So it's going to be an interesting season as we go forward with these conference matchups.
Yeah, and I like Nebraska in that one. They get it done against Indiana. Nice. It was a fun game, I'd say, yesterday. And there you see the weekly standings. Consensus picks here on the morning steam are in the black, are in the green, if you will, over the last week. So we'll see what we come down with here, Mindy, on the interesting card. I don't like the cards when they're 10 games in the early block and 3 in the late slate, because then you have that is such a letdown when you get to that second group of games and you just had 10 games and now you only have 3. And look, one's even almost a double digit favorite, the feature of the national TV game. But one exciting thing that's going to happen here, Mindy, in about 20 minutes is we're going to be on the air when a game goes off. We can just go right into the picks if you want, unless you want to. Why don't we promote first what's going on? Because I have a premium pick in the game coming up in 20 minutes. I don't know if you have one, Mindy, but
I
we're going to be
do.
on the air when the Minnesota Vikings take on the New Orleans Saints over in England at Hotspur Stadium. So what do you got? You got this game, huh?
Yeah, it's in there, but it's not as my best bet. But yes, I am in action on that game. But it is one of those that it was early. I didn't want to put it up as my best bet today because not too many folks would see that one early in the day. So yeah, I'm in play. So all of my subscribers are getting that I think the only way it kind of gets up there in the pick ticker is if we put it into a package, but did not get that done.
Okay, but you've got your best bet coming
Yes,
today, and you'll have action. I imagine, of course, in football, maybe Major
correct,
League Baseball as well. I
correct.
guess 7 games today that still have an impact in the pennant races. But let me pull it up. There, I got it. NFL England early best bet special. Get it right now. Sit here with
And you
me.
got to go
Yeah, why not? Why not
quick,
pick up
hurry.
my profit guaranteed play for $15 in the game in England between the Vikings and the Saints, and then you can sit here and we can cheer for 30 minutes or so, or you can lament me if we get off to a rough start. But we'll see. We'll handicap that game, right? We're going to talk about that game.
I thought
Uh,
so, yeah.
yeah,
So
and
why
then,
not give it a
give
try,
a
huh?
free pick. So I'm just trying to sell a pick here, Mindy.
I
Slow
know,
down a
do it.
little. Slow down a little. Anyway, I got a couple packages up as well right now. Got my NFL early window 5-pack. It's a 10-game slate. I like the 5 games I have. I kind of like some more games. I just wish I was a little hotter right now. Of course, I am number 2 right now in the NFL over at Tony'sPicks.com, but over the last 2 weeks, just barely above the green. So 5-pack in the early window, and we're going to talk about all those games as well. And then I got a 3-pack. Well, I say it is a 3-pack, but 2 of the games are in that late window, and then the Sunday night game as well are included in that. So I put the Sunday night game in that 3-pack. So grab plays from Mindy or I today and use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 20% off all of our premium pick packages. Use that code as often as you'd like. So really, just anytime you purchase picks, just make sure you put that promo code in there and save. We pass those charges along to the bosses. That doesn't affect us that much. So
Right. Yeah, and don't forget that when we get all of our plays together, we repackage those, and those are over on the site for you as well.
yep, as the morning steam. So if you miss any of our shows, instead of having to go back and do the slider bar or whatever, you can get the plays from the morning steam crew. That's Mindy and I, and it's when we agree on one of the plays as we just go through random here, not knowing what Mindy's going to pick and not knowing what I'm going to pick. And then all of a sudden, if we do agree, we have a consensus play,
Surprise.
and we'll also put it on as a package. You don't have to buy it; just make it easier for you if you don't want to look back. And of course, it supports us here at Tony's Picks, so we do appreciate it. We've already seen your reaction to it out there, our viewers. They bought the picks, even though they're free. Mindy, I don't want to talk about it too much like that, like it's some secret, but.
Right.
We know you guys are supporting us, but also saving some time. And we put up a winning percentage. We showed you right there, putting up a winning percentage. So let's see if we can come up with some consensus plays today, Mindy, starting in the National Football League. Now, even if we agree on this first game, probably not going to put it up in
Why not?
package because of the fact that it's just about to get rolling. But we are talking about the game that a lot of people are talking about. Go ahead.
I said, but you still got about 10 minutes to get it in.
Yeah, that's right. And again, I already have a premium play up there, so I might sneak a peek to see if I sold any here in the last few minutes. So let's get right into it with the Vikings and the Saints. Let me get a restart here so we can. Free NFL pick for Sunday. Vikings at Saints. Vikings -4. The total 42. They're playing this one in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium over in England. And I'm watching some of the festivities right now. A lot of excitement, and I'm excited too because we're going to be on the air.
Yeah, so Saints are, I don't know, kind of a mess right now, maybe averaging 72 yards of penalties here on offense, and 65 yards of penalties here on defense. They also average, 92 or less, passing yards here. And then they have an Andy Dalton that's coming out to play, I think, for Jameis Winston today. I don't know. I kind of look for a lot of, Vikings offense versus not so much here for the Saints here today. I'm going to kind of look at the under the total here in this one. I'm going to go under the 42.
That's too bad, because if we did have time to make a consensus play, we would. And maybe, I don't know, maybe while I'm working on this, no, we can't. It's too hard. But I do like the under as well. Look, I actually like the strategy of the Saints to go to England a week early, while the Vikings just came in on Friday. That's a major concern to me. And I also, think that, talk about the Saints. They're going to be limited a little bit offensively, of course, with, I don't know if it's a downgrade with Dalton necessarily over Jameis right now. Maybe for certainly, generally right now, Winston still has more in the tank left than Dalton, but Jameis hasn't been healthy for weeks, right? I mean, we know that he's been fighting injuries now for, a couple of weeks, really, and now finally it's just become a little bit too much. Now, Kirk Cousins, his numbers are down. I know the big joke this week was, do you count this as a prime time game? I don't know if the Minnesota Vikings know what time it even is right now, right? I mean, we already know how tough it is to travel across the country, and here you have a team that flew in on Friday for this game, while the Saints have treated this more as a business trip. They were coming off, they're coming off different scenarios. Minnesota is coming off that emotional game against the Detroit Lions, a division game, and now they're going to go play the Saints. We saw the Saints. They had an outstanding performance, I thought, against Carolina with, some good numbers, too, on offense. But I think Minnesota, I think the approach is going to be a little bit tough, and Saints are going to have to help me on defense, I think. But I think the offenses will be more limited, especially maybe the Saints. But Cousins, like I said, the numbers are down right now, and he's got Jefferson, Thielen, he's got Cook behind him. Why aren't the Vikings a little bit better? And also O'Connell, I'm a O'Connell guy too. I was like, this is going to work. But and there's nothing negative necessarily to say about the Vikings right now necessarily. They maybe had a flop so far, but maybe the wrong approach in this game to go in on a whim is very, very difficult. But I'll take the under with you. So it's a consensus play, is our free play right there. So if I didn't tip my hand too much on what I like on the side, I don't think I did. Go ahead and get my pick over there, $15. My best bet over in this game is on the side. We just gave out the total, so you can parlay it, tease it, do whatever you like to it. But we'll take the under in the early game, and when it gets underway,
we'll find out.
Yeah, it'd be exciting. I don't know. I might call a little play-by-play or something. Anybody seen me do that before? All right. Let's move on. We're going to get into the rest of the NFL slate here. These will be the 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific games. Thank you, everyone, for joining us in the chat. Love to see if you've got any picks for us today. Here we go. Free NFL pick for Sunday. Titans at Colts. The Colts are -3.5, and the total 43.
Yeah, the Colts here average 4 more offensive first downs than the Titans. Are ranked 30th in penalty yards on the offensive side and 18th on defense. They also allow 6.4 yards on defense, which they haven't really done in the past. I kind of look for the Colts here to control the ball, the time of possession. I really like the Colts here to cover at home today, even though I'm not really a Matt Ryan fan, as everyone knows.
Well, it looks like Taylor's going to be okay to play, and you got, obviously, maybe Derrick Henry hasn't been Derrick Henry. I get it. Maybe Taylor hasn't been Taylor all the way yet either, but you still have two of the most dominant running games in the league right now, and I would think that that's the way the teams are going to look to try to, they both want to impose their will on one another here. I think we've seen the total go kind of down a little bit already. Totals are way down, Mindy.
Right.
This year, you talked about the 47 number, and it would, over the last few years, it's gone down to 46. Right now, it's not even close. Right now it's in the low 40s. So this number is more even in line with that. But when I see two teams that want to rush the ball and you don't like Matt Ryan, who's he going to throw it to? These weapons aren't anything special. Pittman is the guy, of course, but from there, Campbell, Pierce, not very impressive at this point for the Titans. Robert Woods is their top receiver. Is Tannehill going to be able to do anything with him? So you got Derrick Henry, you got Jonathan Taylor. Colts are at home. They're going to want to use that running game and be battle the wills there. I think I'm going to go under. Let's run that ball. Let's work that clock. Let's take advantage of a 43 here and go under. And so Mindy will take Indianapolis Colts, and I will take the under. Indiana. We're from Indiana. Indiana. I would never do that. Free NFL pick for Sunday: Chicago Bears at New York Giants. New York Giants are favored by 3 and the total 38.5.
Yeah, the Bears are only averaging 14.33 first downs per game, while the Giants 19.67. The Bears are well below the National Football League average of 20.3. Bears also averaging a meager 78 yards here per pass, 10 points scored on the road. I'm going to be going under the 38.5 here, Ramon, in this one.
Consensus play.
The
Bears are the most boring team. I mean, they're out there running a high school offense. They, they barely throw the ball with Fields. What are they scared of? I still think there's a little bit of promise out there for Fields, but no, for whatever reason, they just, afraid to let loose or afraid to open up this offense or do anything, I think, with this offense right now.
Right.
So, that's just what it looks like to me. They run the fewest plays in the league right now, and they try to think they have a little bit of a rushing offense, but who they're going to run here today? Herbert in there. I mean, it's not really impressive. They should have a good match. The Giants play okay defense, pretty decent defense. Their run defense, I believe, to be something to be desired. But I think that the Giants can get something going with a little bit of running game as well. I think for all the trouble that the Giants had and we made fun of them and everything, I think they'll actually get a little bit back on track here today. I would think, Mindy, in this one with Daniel Jones, he might actually, look like he can function out there at quarterback.
Right.
And again, when you got a guy, when Barkley's back like this, I mean, that definitely helps out big time. There's nothing to indicate that, look, maybe he's not back to being Barkley, but he's certainly been pretty darn good so far. So I think that it'll go under in this game, under 38.5. That's good enough for me. Bears really worry me right now with that offense and the way it's been looking for them. They don't really have many weapons at all. It really looks like on offense. So we'll take the under there with Chicago and New York Giants as a consensus play.
Consensus play.
Free NFL pick for Sunday: Los Angeles Chargers at Houston Texans. The Chargers, a 6-point favorite, the total 45.
Yeah, the Texans, they just kind of give up too much on defense here while not being able to score enough there as well. The Chargers average 6 more pass plays, average 100 more yards passing per game. Texans are playing, plagued by penalties, 20 more yards on, offensive side with penalties. And then the Chargers, though, they have on offense about 148 more yards than those Texans. I think the Chargers will win the time of possession here. I'm going to look at the Chargers. I like them -6.
Well, I know you talked about maybe the offense is having some successes, but I'm not so sure. Keenan Allen's out for the Chargers today. They have no running game whatsoever. Houston, they do play competitive for whatever reason. They seem to be able to hang in games. They just can't win. So they would have, I think, Bosa's out for the Chargers. Now Jackson's in for the Chargers, so that does help them a little bit. But Chargers have some other issues. I think it'll be a little bit tough sledding offensively for both teams, possibly today in this one. And I'm going to end up taking the under in this game. Look, for Davis Mill, I talk him up a little bit, and what happens? He goes out and throws the big
Right.
interception last game. But they're not overwhelming right now on offense. There's no doubt about it. But for some reason, pretty well coached team now, I would say. So I think it will go under. Definitely worried for the Chargers because Keenan Allen being out, that puts more pressure on Mike Williams, and they don't look to have as much depth at receiver right now. So I'm going to go under in Chargers and Houston. Mindy will take the Chargers.
Go Chargers.
The San Diego Chargers. Whatever.
Right.
Free NFL pick for Sunday. Seattle Seahawks at Detroit Lions. The Lions are a 3.5-point favorite, and the total 47.5.
Yeah, the Lions, I think they're a pretty good ground team, but I think they're going to be without Swift, I believe. I'm not sure if that's changed or not. But yeah, they actually usually average about 10 more rush attempts than those Seahawks do. But the Seahawks.
I'll give Mindy 1 second to see if it seemed like she just, I don't know if it went off, but I'll take over. There we go. She's here. You're good.
Oh,
Just
geez.
a little laggy. Just
a little
start.
laggy. It's
go
kind
ahead
of
and
how I
start.
feel today, a little laggy.
Go ahead and give it to me from the top, Mindy.
All right. Yeah. So the Lions, I think they're a good ground team here, but they'll be without Swift. Averages about, 10 more rushing attempts than those Seahawks do. But they also commit a lot of penalties. It seems like kind of at the wrong time. About 33 more yards on the offensive side. And then also they tend to turn over the ball 2 more times than those Lions do as well. I think if the Lions here can manage to get those Seahawks off the field, I think they'll have a pretty easy time. I expect them to cover at home today. I like the Lions here in this one.
Yeah, game sets up pretty nice for the Lions. Yeah, I wish that the Lions were a little bit more healthy with Swift and with St. Brown missing 2 key players on the offense. The total's gone down low enough for me, 47.5. Look, with all these totals going under and all the talk being under, now all of a sudden, when you see these totals and the numbers high, to me it says, you know what, this is going to be a high-scoring game. And maybe it doesn't look like it on the surface, but you still, you said it, Detroit, they're still not great defensively, right? I mean, they're not going up against a juggernaut offense, but they still have, probably 2 of the best, great receiving combo in Lockett and Metcalf. Not many teams that take the field today in the league are going to go out there with, 2 quality receivers like that for Geno. So I think that Seattle will be able to get their share of points here. And I think Detroit will too, even with this injuries. Look, Jamal Williams will get the start. I'm okay, certainly, with him. I'm a little worried in the receiving core for Detroit. But like I said, I mean, Goff's numbers have been pretty okay. I mean, they've actually been very good of late. So, missing Brown, but still right now, Hawkinson, all of a sudden he's emerged back as one of the, best options at tight end out there. So I'm going to end up going over in this game. I think that's the way to go for me. Mindy will take Detroit. I will go over. I don't necessarily disagree with Mindy there. Really, Detroit, I don't know. Maybe they would have been a bigger favorite with those players in the lineup. 3.5 looks pretty nice, but I'll go over. Free NFL pick for Sunday. New York Jets at Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, a 3.5-point favorite. Total 41.5.
Yeah, offensively here. I think they might get Zach back as well. I think that's going to be, a plus rather than a minus. even though Joe Flacco, we know that he's been good. He does have that nice passer rating over his career. So they've been decent. In the Jets offensively, they've been averaging 5 more first downs than the Steelers, 17 more pass attempts, winning the time of possession battle. They're averaging 4.99 yards per play compared to 4.77 here for the Steelers. They're also, getting up about 4 more first downs, giving up more. I'm having a hard time giving up 4 more first downs here on defense and 5 rushing attempts. I like the Steelers here, but it's just one of those that I just don't know if I could pull the trigger on them just because they haven't been, really playing well. The Steelers only average 14 points per game here at home. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Jets here in this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it could be just a field goal game, right? You're getting the hook. So I'm not all about Zach Wilson just yet. I mean, I'm not all in on Joe Flacco, certainly. Like I said, not many people can be a quarterback in the National Football League. And all we know about Wilson right now is he's still a prospect. I mean, to a certain extent. But he's the guy. He's the guy when he's healthy. The Jets are going to try to, groom and get ready for. You don't want to miss this one. Matt D. I mean, you got Zach Wilson and Mitch Trubisky. Want to see some great quarterbacking play. 2 NFL quarterbacks going at it. I've got to go with the under because of that.
Right.
No, all kidding aside. I mean, if I'm the Jets, I want to run the ball against Pittsburgh. I can run the ball. The one thing you might be able to do, I think, against Pittsburgh is run the ball. I think Hall. I think Carter. Look, there's not guys that they have really that can produce, I think, a little bit in the ground game. And I think the same thing goes for Pittsburgh. I think they want to run with Harris, right? Maybe even a little Warren in there. But Najee is a guy, they really got to use there. So, these guys are going to be ball control quarterbacks. There's nothing explosive about these teams today at all. I'm going to go under. I mean, the total's at 41.5. That seems almost like a bargain. That things might be 39 or 38. I'm going to go under. Mindy's going to go on the Jets in this one.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do better with reading my notes. I should type these instead of trying to reread my chicken scratch.
No, we don't have time for that.
It's brutal.
Free NFL pick for Sunday. Jacksonville Jaguars at Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles, a favorite, and the total 45.
I think my I keep on spinning.
Yeah, it's coming back though.
Today, I'm not sure what the deal is.
You keep coming back though eventually, so
that's good. It's like I said, it's lagging like me after a long day of college football.
Oh man, that was a long day.
All right, so we ready?
Yep.
Horns in the last 4 games, while the Jaguars defense is holding their opponent to only 19 points here on the road. Also have the most interceptions this season. Eagles are a little sloppy on offense, commit about 18 more penalty yards, which sometimes hurts their third down efficiency. Trevor Lawrence, he's playing sharp this season. He's completing about 69% of his passes compared to 67 Phelan. These teams, I think they match well. I'm going to go ahead and 35 day. Are you able to hear me, Ramon?
Yeah, I did get most of it, but I do want you to give me the pick once again.
Yeah, I was taking the under 45.
Okay, no, I don't mind that pick at all. And look, I love Jacksonville right now. I think they're a team to look to make money on the rest of the season. I'm just not sure it's going to be today. going up against the Eagles. They're coming off, the Jacksonville's coming off a West Coast win where they totally dominated. Look, these teams are legitimate defensively, Mindy. I think we know Philly is, but Jacksonville is surprising, and they are also inside the top 10 on defense, I would think, right now for sure, and something that they can build on uh, moving forward. And any kind of defense that they can support
Right.
Lawrence with is going to make him better and make his offense that much better. So it's a hand in hand thing there. Jacksonville is a team to watch moving forward and may have more success yet this season. But I think just right now, given the situation coming off the West Coast win, traveling back now and having another road game is what's difficult about this. And again, it's nice because people will be down on Jacksonville again. They might get blown out today, and they're still a team that'll improve. So Mindy will probably hop out and come back in, and I'll keep it rolling a little bit. Let me talk about this one today with this game. So that's what I think for Philadelphia. Look, Hurts can control the ball a little bit. Is I think the running game will be fine, but I think Brown and Smith, with their ball control, I think a little bit there. And Jacksonville, look, they were terrific last week, no doubt about it. But also they'll be just interested, I think, in hopefully keeping it close. They might end up on the wrong side of this one. I think it will be a blowout. But Mindy does go on the under, and I am on Philadelphia. So I think that's the key there. Like I said, Jacksonville still a team to look at moving forward, but not in this spot. The spot is bad. All right. Hopefully, I'll get Mindy back, but we'll just start the next handicap as well. You ready for this one? Free NFL pick for Sunday. Washington Commanders at Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by 3.5 and the total 41. Well, in this one, I've got you talked about in the chat with the overs and unders, but I'm going to like the under in this one. I think for the Cowboys, they're going to look to control the game, and I think that they can do that. For Dallas, look, they're in a great spot against Washington here in a division game that's going to probably end up being low scoring. They're going to probably sack Carson Wentz a lot. Look at what Carson Wentz went through last week. He was sacked over and over again, 9 times, and that's going to happen again today. Cowboys are going to get to him repeatedly. There will be multiple sacks in this game, I'm sure of it. And for the Cowboys, I think, look, they've got a two-headed running back right now too, right? I mean, you talk about Zeke. Yes, he's back. He's doing well. He's never going to be the same Zeke of old, I would think. But with Pollard, it gives him a great respite right now. So I think that's the key for Dallas, and I think that's how they can control the game with the Commanders today. And I think the Commanders are just in an awful spot here against Dallas. So I would think that Dallas will have a nice game, an easy performance. Mindy's going to join me. Sorry, I'm a little confused there, but just texting her and make sure she knows how to get back into the show. So was hoping to drag this one out a little bit so I could get her back on and get her comments on this game. So again, I just think Washington is going to be really up against it here. Look, I know without Dak, that has, obviously, look, this would have been a 9 or 10 point game with Dak in there, right? Or what do you think, chat? 7, 8, certainly over a touchdown. So, look, I think we're getting kind of a little bit of a bonus here with cool Cooper Rush and just laying a 3.5 points. That's pretty good. So I don't want to give things away. I got a premium on this game. I hope you get my package. But the only way I can explain this one is to talk about how the Commanders are really going to be a hard prey. Hope Carson Wentz can survive the whole game in this one because we know Dallas gets after the quarterback, and we know that Washington cannot protect its quarterback. It's a bad, bad scene going on in Dallas today. So, all right, just trying to drag it out, but I'm going to move on to the next game. We're still on the morning games. So, here we go. Free NFL pick for Sunday, Cleveland Browns at Atlanta Falcons. The Browns, a 1-point favorite in the total, 47.5. Well, the bad news came this week with Myles Garrett hitting. We're going to miss this game after his car accident, and I think that's why we saw the line move in this one. I thought the Browns were about a 2.5 to 3-point favorite before Garrett was ruled out. His injury is the one that's when the line started to move in this one, Mindy, when Garrett goes down with his car accident. Be careful, Myles. I mean, the Browns need you. He's one of the few real impact players in the league as far as being able to change the dynamic of the game when he is putting pressure on the quarterback. Now, the Falcons, they've emerged a little bit, Mindy, with Mariota kind of changed up the way they do things, and it's looked kind of, successful so far for Mariota. Maybe a little bit of improvement, by the Falcons. But to me, the Browns just have more talent on the field in this one. I mean, you got two very good running backs, I would think, in Chubb and Hunt. You have Cooper. He's wearing that single-digit number. He looks like he just got out of college and is in his first year in the league. All of a sudden, he doesn't even look like the former Amari. He looks like a completely different player. So, plus you have Njoku, who continues to be strong and moving into that category of maybe we talked about a few good tight ends here. I mean, you're not going to be up there in the Kelseys and all that, but Njoku continues to do well at all as well. And Atlanta today without Cordero Patterson is a big difference, I think, without him. I mean, he is a guy that puts you on edge as a defense because you don't know what's coming at you. But, from there, I mean, really, what do they have in the lineup? London, Zacchaeus at wide receiver. They don't have a lot of weapons on the Atlanta side. So my free pick is going to be on Cleveland here.
Consensus play.
You're just saying that.
No, the Browns here for a running team. They average 4 more pass attempts than the Falcons do. Average 3 more first downs on the offensive side between these two teams. Browns also allow 4 less first downs on defense and only 4.11 yards per play, while the Falcons give up 6.04 yards per play on defense. So, again, this is why I'm going to go with the Browns.
All right, so Mindy is on the Browns. I'm on the Browns for a consensus play.
So who did you have then, Ramon, for
Mindy, I don't know.
Commanders, Cowboys?
Yeah, let's go back to it. I'll let you comment. I made my pick. It might have been discombobulated because I don't get to go after you. I was stalling. I was fumbling my words. I practically gave away my premium pick on the game as well without saying so, but maybe we can get your comments on the game. I don't know if the crew can chop it up and put the two together in just 2 or 3 hours time, but let's get your comments for everybody joining us on the long version show, Commanders and Cowboys. I'll tell you in a brief synopsis what I ended up doing in the game, Mindy, as my free pick was going to be on the under. Carson Wentz is going to get sacked about 15 times in this game. They might have negative yardage rushing by the time it's all over because the Cowboys defense, it doesn't matter. This is a terrible situation for the Commanders. If anything, I gave it away. It's a bonus for the Cowboys that Dak probably isn't playing because it'd be probably a 7, 8, 9-point favorite with Dak. And here, Cooper Rush, who's undefeated as a starter, looks like he's going to be a capable backup. Who might be one of those guys who is looking for a starting job because he has success while the main guy is out. But I took under, just saying that the Commanders may end up with 7 points in this game.
Well, I mean, I was going to give the Commanders hopefully maybe a little bit more credit here in this game. They actually convert 4 more first downs, 8 more pass attempts, and have 55 more pass yards per game than these Cowboys do. It's just been one of those things that I think the Commanders have been able to keep these games close. Minus that 8-24 game versus the Eagles last week. But otherwise, 3 points a game in each of those last 3 events. I kind of like the Commanders to be able to keep this close. I think it's going to be, one of those last minute, probably come from behind. I think the Cowboys might win this one. But I'm going to take the Commanders here, getting the points at the +3.5. I like the number on that one too. I think there's a decent value in that half point today.
Fair enough. Good to get your pick there on it. Like I said, I don't know if we could do anything about the short version of they cut it up, but we want to get you on the record there for in that game. So Mindy was on the Commanders and I was on the under. All right, the Vikings are inside the 5-yard line as they are doing some moving the ball pretty well on this series. Free NFL pick for Sunday. Arizona Cardinals at Carolina Panthers. The game's a pick and the total 43.5.
Yeah, so you have this Cardinals team that they're actually averaging 86 more yards passing. And also they have quite a bit of an edge in time of possession here versus a Panthers team. They also have only 0.06 turnovers per game, while the Panthers give up usually about, 3. I think this one is going to be basically a lot of Cardinals. I think there's going to be, the increased rushing attack here. If they can stay away from penalties, I think they're going to be able to get this Panthers team off the field. I'm looking for the Cardinals to win this one, especially if McCaffrey isn't going to be on the field much today.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, I know it's kind of a running joke with Christian McCaffrey, but here we are again on another Sunday talking about him missing this game. So I think that will affect Carolina dramatically. I'm not sure right now. Look, we want to give Baker Mayfield all the chances in the world right now, but I'm not sure that at this point it's quite working out. I don't know. He's got, a good receiver. They're just
they're not getting DJ Moore the ball whatsoever.
No, they're not getting it to him. They're not getting it done, and they have enough balance with other receivers that you'd think that they could. And there's a touchdown for the Vikings. Well, flag down. So I don't know. And I think for Arizona, being on the road here, Kyler Murray, a little bit of a tough matchup, I would think, for him against Carolina. They'd be best off running the ball, and if they do that, going to end up going on the under. My free play is going to be on the under in this one. Look, they have question marks in the receiving core this week. They've got questionable receivers due to injury, so they're going to be relying on like Dortch. I mean, they just not a solid lineup offensively. They really need to run the ball with Connor, and he can be hit or miss, especially on the road. So I'm going to go another under to please all my fans there.
The odds on Ramon having any overs today, the unders. So far so good.
You want a few overs, maybe get my premium package for the early game. So, I guess that doesn't give too much away, but that is a fact.
Right.
Free NFL pick for Sunday: the Denver Broncos and Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders 2.5, total 45.5.
Yeah, so the Raiders are actually averaging 23 points per game here at home, while the Broncos only 16 points away. The Broncos have really relied on the run. They're averaging 10 more rush attempts than the Raiders, but only averaging 4.2 yards here per carry on that rush side. Raiders here, they're winning the turnover battle usually versus the Broncos. But they need that offensive line here to be able to protect Carr a little bit better. Carr and that Raiders offense averaged 5.71 yards per play. I think they'll be able to basically use their edge on, first downs, yardage. I think they're going to be able to pull this one out in a close one. I like the Raiders at home here by the field goal.
Consensus play. I like them too. Division game. Whatever, for whatever reason, is not working right now. I've tried to pull for Russell Wilson, and it's just it's not working out really at this point. Now I think that the Broncos really need to run against the Raiders, but I'm not sure that that's going to be their interest. And if I think they do look to pass, that could be detrimental. Look, I'd try to pass too if I've got Jerry Judy, if I've got
Okay,
Portland
right.
Sutton, but really they need to run Williams and Gordon, and they might not follow the right strategy. Now, it's not a great matchup either for the Raiders. I mean, there's a lot of trends that would point you right to the under in this one, folks. But I'll tell you, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I'm going to agree with Mindy in this one. Devontae Adams has got a great matchup. All Carr has to do is buy a little bit of time.
Right.
Devontae Adams can score 2 touchdowns today. He could have a monster game here. It's not a good situation, not a good matchup right now for Denver. Maybe there can be some hope for him for Russell moving forward, but I don't know. I'm not going to be down on the guy, just the type
Just
of
yet.
guy he is. But as far as the play is concerned, right now it's fun. He's taking sacks. It's like he forgot how to throw the ball away. So that's a major concern for me. I think the Raiders actually being 0-3. We know this league is a mess. Everybody wins. Nobody's going 0-16. The Raiders aren't. This used to be a tough division. All of a sudden, it's looking like a mediocre division right now. So, good spot to get healthy for the Raiders and get a victory over a division opponent in what could be, a game where both teams end up short of 20 points, I would think, in this one. So, I'm going to take the Raiders, lay those points, give me a consensus play with Mindy on this one. Free NFL pick for Sunday. New England Patriots, Green Bay Packers. Well, Mindy, this would be a marquee matchup if it wasn't for the fact that, well, I don't know, Mac Jones. I mean, he's not exactly the guy you want to put on your marquee, but he's not there. And we got Hoyer, who, I don't know, he's played before. He doesn't win. We know that, but he has plenty of experience. So, Packers, though, nearly a double-digit favorite at home against the Patriots. Not exactly what you want for the national game of the week.
Well, exactly, because it's like once I go ahead and I punch the numbers in, my formula, right? It has those Patriots, getting the plus 9.5 and winning this one. But yet I have this other data that is conflicting with that, right? When a game opens at -6.5 and it has a move to -9.5, that play is a 7-0 to the cover. So I have this conflicting data that I just want to see how this one plays out. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the total here instead of the side. But the Patriots, they're averaging, only 12 points here on the road, while the Packers, again, averaging or only allowing 10 points on defense here at home. I think Patriots here might be able to win, the turnover battle here and perhaps a time of possession to keep it close. I think the defenses here will both allow their opponents, some first downs in there, kind of drag this one out. I think I'm going to go ahead and look to the under here in this game today.
Well, you're just doing that because you knew I'd take the under and we'd have a consensus play. And that's
No,
what
I
need
told you
to
my
do.
rationale on the side. I just couldn't do it. I can't.
Well, I
couldn't
talked
pick.
about how I thought, I felt bad because you went with Washington after I said they might score 7 points. New England might
It
also
happens.
score in single digits, I'm afraid, in this one. This one looks like it's a big setup.
Set up. It's a
Also,
trap.
Darren Rodgers, right? He's all miserable, right? Because they can't get him any good players. Well, all of a sudden, you've got a new receiver that he gets to use, and now all of a sudden it's a little bit exciting again. I would think he's got to have some excitement with Romeo Doubs. Really, today, look, we've already seen Dobbs have a good game. This probably I'm thinking this is the breakout game. I mean, it's a national TV game. The other two games, maybe the division game kind of takes away from the window. there for this game, but I would think this is the breakout game. Even though he had the 8 catches in that game against the Buccaneers, really didn't have big time yardage. So I think he gets it here, and I think the Packers probably put it on the Patriots in some kind of convincing fashion. That, like I said, I mean, they might not be overwhelming. The Packers' offense hasn't necessarily been too overwhelming. We know at home they're always going to be a little bit better, but Jones and Dillon, they still can control the game, certainly with the running game. But I think it goes under. Look, probably would have been much higher with Mac Jones in there, but he's not
Right.
the type of guy. We talk about some of these quarterbacks, like the game with Dak would have been a 6 or 7 point difference. Why would the game with the Patriots and the Packers be a huge difference
3 points.
between
Yeah.
Jones? Yeah, 3 points maybe between Jones and Hoyer, whatever. Jones has done fine for a young quarterback. Still has a lot to learn and prove. Uh, Hoyer at least has been there and tried to do that, but I'll take the under as well. So let's mark it down as a consensus play for us. Another one. Free NFL pick for Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Boy, I seem to remember these two teams meeting recently. Is
When could
anybody
it be?
talking about that? Is anybody talking about this being a rematch at all? I don't know. But the Buccaneers are favored here on Sunday night, favored by 1, the total 45.5.
Yeah, so I talk about my fantasy team a little bit. I'm sure everyone cares about that. But I did bench Tom Brady today for Geno Smith, who has only been averaging 12 points per game here at home. I mean, who would have thought of a Tom Brady team with only averaging 12 points? The good thing is their defense has only been given up 14 points, so they've been able to stay in these two games, or that's why they've been able to win 2 games here. Bucks are looking to just run the ball. They've actually, averaged like 25 more rushing plays than passing plays. I mean, it's just been crazy. But they've also been winning the time of possession here also. Brady's pass attempts have really fallen. Like I said, he normally averages about 43 is what he averaged last year. This year he's sitting at like 34. It's going to be, I think, another ground and pound game here. I'm again going to go ahead and look to the under in this one.
Yeah, and Brady with really low numbers as far as his career, as far as yards per attempt, yards per completion. It's really had to go to more, uh, you know, even more of an underneath game, really of late, and that's kind of slowed things. But Mike Evans is back this week. I think that bodes well for Tampa Bay. They should have the better defense in this game. It doesn't seem like a great matchup for the Chiefs. Now you got Patrick Mahomes, so that immediately makes it a good matchup for him, no matter what defense he is playing. But if you can't run the ball, I think that they can do a good enough job against Edwards-Helaire. I don't know if they'll have rushing success, so they can still get some passes off. They are missing Valdez-Scantling, but they have Juju, who there are question marks right now. Juju is not necessarily looking like a number one out there. Hardman, is he not as good all of a sudden as he was previous couple of campaigns right now? So they might have to go a little bit deeper. Now, Kelsey, Mindy's going to have a monster game. That's the problem I have with this pick. I'm going with Tampa Bay, but Kelsey is going to have a monster game. He's the one guy that I think Tampa Bay will have trouble covering here. So that's where I give him a chance. But for me, Brady has the guys, the completion receivers now. As long as he's had enough time to work with these guys in place, even you mentioned last week Beasley. I don't know if he got that much action, but Miller, because they're missing guys too. They're missing they're missing 2 or 3 receivers, if I'm not mistaken. But the one thing that they do have back is Mike Evans. He's the best receiver on the field, and he's got Tom Brady. So I'm going to go with the Bucks in this one. And you called. I'm sorry. Go ahead. And you called
For the under.
For the under, that's right. Yes. Primetime unders. And again, like I said, talked about it and we get teased a little bit, but I don't mind. I mean, the league wide trends also say under. These totals are declining severely. So there's a point where you got to turn it around and start to go over. But we need to see some production, right, from these offenses moving forward. So. All right, that's our NFL picks for
Did
today.
we have Ramon? Do we have a Bills and Ravens? Or did I miss that one Or did I miss that one when I was
No,
pixelating at some
I'm
sort?
sure glad you said something. Let me make a graphic for it. I don't know what I was thinking here.
Could have been me.
No. Maybe I was a little bit behind today with my graphic production. Of course, the Bills on the road here, about a 3. I want to have the graphic up there so we can do the presentation correctly. So just give me one moment. It's only the marquee matchup of the morning games, right? I mean, it wouldn't be out of the question to be, two teams that could play in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you never know, right? I mean, both are playing well.
You got to put some other teams in there, like the Chiefs. Free NFL pick for Sunday: the Buffalo Bills at the Baltimore Ravens. The Bills are a 3-point favorite, and the total 50.5.
Yeah, so I think what really sticks out to me so far is these Ravens giving up 42 points per game at home. Yikes, what are they doing? I mean, their opponents are averaging 18.67 more pass plays. They're losing the time of possession on defense. It's just one of those things like, I don't know what's going on with the Ravens. They used to kind of been, known for their defense. It's going to be a wet and rainy day. Again, that usually doesn't factor, too much into anything. Usually actually helps out where my play is going. I think the Bills here, they're going to crush them, and then probably in time of possession, turnovers. They're averaging 15 more plays of offense. I look for them to exploit this defense. The defense here for the Ravens are giving up 11.14 yards per game, per pass play. I think they're going to continue to score, but I also think, the Bills are going to light it up too. So I'm going to give you my one over total for today, Ramon. That's why I was making sure we got this one in. Wet, rainy day, going over. The only thing that usually I think disrupts is maybe like a big lots of snow, or like you said, the wind. So
yeah. Well, I'm embarrassed because I, didn't have the game on the pre-picks rapid fire. And again, like I said, I mean, this is probably the best game of the early games, certainly with the Bills and the Ravens. And I'm going to, kind of contrary to your analysis, I'm going to end up going with the Ravens here. Buffalo just played the game of the season in Miami, lost. Everybody's talking about we saw what happened in Miami. Now that was on the short week, the Thursday, but they obviously had trouble coming back from that game. So to me, I just think this one sets up well for the Ravens. I have no problem right now. Look, I think it is going to be tough to run. They're going to end up with passing. But again, I've talked about how I think Duvernay is going to be one of the up-and-coming receivers that people are not necessarily paying attention to. I talked about all these tight ends today. Mark Andrews is right there with all these. He's going to have a monster game today. He's already crushing this season. Look, I don't doubt that the Bills will probably get theirs. I think you might be right. I mean, it could be a high-scoring game despite some wet conditions. I think they called it a light rain. I don't think they. I know it's the remnants of what was going on, but nobody's pointing out that it's going to be a huge problem. So
not the monsoon.
no, I think it's kind of all systems go. Kind of for Buffalo, but I still trust the Ravens a little bit defensively. More so, I just trust Jackson to be able to match with Allen here. I think we'll get maybe one of those games that we'll be talking about. It could be the game that we end up talking about at the end of the day as being the best game that came down to the wire, and maybe the Bills could even win, and I still get the money. I like the Ravens +3. And Mindy said take the over. So, all right, there you go. Take a look at that. And we're going to move into some baseball right now and take a look at Mindy. There's like 7 games of interest here, I think, today. So I don't know. We can go over most of the card if you'd like. It's a full card, certainly, but I only have graphics for the games in particular that have meaning in the postseason. Or, right now you have in the American League, the 3 teams are battling it out for which wild card spots they're going to be in with Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Toronto. Which teams are going to be in the 4, 5, 6 position. While
Right.
over in the National League, they are certainly the big game tonight, right? We know that the Mets in Atlanta, that's the marquee matchup. They moved that game to the late game, and it's worthy of our attention, I think, along with that football game, because those 2 teams are battling. Atlanta's won 2 in a row now. The Mets all of a sudden have fallen. Now I'm watching it because probably the team that falls on the short side of that series ends up playing San Diego. All of a sudden, I've gone from the Padres playing the Cardinals, the Padres playing the Braves, and now
Right.
it looks like the Padres could end up playing the Mets if things continue this way. So that also is a big game. And then you have the teams that are jostling. We have Milwaukee on the outside looking in there. They're running out of time right now. They need to almost win all 4 games, because you can't guarantee what the 2 teams ahead of them are going to do. So Milwaukee, the pressure is on. They are at home today as a favorite against Miami. So anyways, so in baseball, Mindy, if we want to start discussing it a little bit, we can go from there. And anything on the first game on the board, Minnesota and Detroit. You having that? Let me see if I can at least narrate it a little bit with Richardson and Wentz, a couple of young pitchers going.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to just go ahead and do, more of the playoff games, or those in the hunt, we can do those too. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Joey Wentz. He's got his 2 ERA in his last 5 starts. I think they're going Simeon Woods. I think for Richardson for his debut, I think, but I'm not quite sure. But he came over to Toronto with the Berrios trade, or from Toronto in the Berrios trade. He has a 2.21 ERA in AAA this year. I think the Tigers, they're going to have the edge with Wentz here in this one. I'm looking for the Tigers on the money line here today.
All right. Yeah, looks like a pretty good deal. I mean, minus $1.10. I don't mind that, certainly, in this one. We know that right now Simeon Richardson making his debut. Wentz, pretty good. 3.07 ERA of late. All 3 of his last starts have gone under. So I'll take the under, I think, in that one. And Mindy, you go with the Detroit Tigers. All right. Next up, this is one of the games of note, because you got the Phillies playing with a lot of pressure right now. They're up to about 245, going up against the Washington Nationals and their stopper, Patrick Corbin. So Philly's a pretty big favorite here, probably a little bit extra too. I mean, yeah, they're in the playoff hunt. Not sure they should be this big a favorite, but probably end up in a lot of parlays today, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would put this too. I mean, I'm looking at the Phillies here on the money line. The Nationals, with Corbin, 6-18, 6.08 ERA. Phillies, they're 13-2 versus the Nationals with Wheeler. He's been 2.92, 156 Ks, so pretty decent. He's really good in his last start, 6 innings, only gave up 1 run. Phillies just, they have more to play here. More to play for. I'm going to take them on the money line, minus 230. But again, I probably wouldn't play this in anything, more than a money line parlay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a little bit of pressure, but my man Anibal Sanchez did the job yesterday for Washington, so maybe Corbin can do it again today. But I don't know if I want any part of it. These two teams have been, you know, when facing each other, there seems to be a lot of offense, but out down the stretch here, there has not been a lot of offense from these two teams, and I think I'd look for that more to be the trend here because the pressure's on Wheeler so much, and people are so down on Corbin. He's cleaned it up a little bit with a 4 ERA over his last few games, so I'll go under in Philly and Washington. All right, the Baltimore Orioles going up against the New York Yankees. Free Major League Baseball pick. This one for Sunday. Kyle Bradish for the Orioles going up against Gonzalez for the Yankees. Gonzalez is a 135 favorite. Total 7.5.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez, he's pretty much given up a lot of runs wherever he's, pitched. He's 0-1 with a 6.87 ERA. Bradish, I think he's been pretty good as of late. 4-7 with a 5.11 ERA. I'm going to look to the over here in this one. I'll take the over 7 today, Ramon.
All right. Mindy gives us an undercall. Overcall, you said?
I'm going to take the over 7, yes.
Yeah. In Baltimore and Yankees. All right. Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent price actually for the Yankees here. I mean, we know Baltimore, they were in it for a while there down the stretch, but I think at this price with two teams with, Yankees are in obviously and all the drama going on, but I will take the Yankees in this one. I think that's a reasonable price, $1.40 or so. I'll take the Yankees today against Baltimore. All right, now one of those games we talked about that has some importance. Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: Boston Red Sox at Toronto Blue Jays. Michael Wacha going up against Gausman. Gausman $1.80, total 7.5.
Yeah, so the Red Sox and Wacha, he's been, pretty great this season. 11-1 with 3.06 ERA. Blue Jays with Gausman on the mound. Hasn't been great at home. He's 4-7, 4.52 ERA. I know the Red Sox, they've been, not great in their last couple of games, but I think they do have the pitching advantage here today. I'm going to go with Boston on the money line.
All right, I think we'll be in disagreement here. I'm going to go with Toronto. I'm laying a big price. I get that, so maybe Mindy's got the right idea, taking underdogs, high volatility situation late in the season. But like I said, Toronto does have a little bit to play for still. Even Mindy can agree there because they're battling a little bit for maybe to move up. I don't know. Maybe they're comfortable right now with their situation. I don't know who you might want to play, Mindy, but if I'm Toronto, I mean, I'm matched up against Cleveland, I think, the way it's looking right now. So I think they'd like to hold on to that spot. I think they'd like to face Cleveland. So I know I would. Toronto's 20-6 over their last 26 games as a favorite. So that's solid enough for me. Mindy and I are going to be opposite here in this one. Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: the Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Guardians. The Royals with Castillo going up against the Guardians with Bieber. And Bieber is favored here, minus 215. The total 6.5 over, minus 115.
Yeah, so I think this is another one that you could put in your money line parlay with those Guardians at minus 225. The Royals have lost 4 straight road games here. They're the worst in, Major League Baseball. On the road, 7-25 in away games since July. Castillo is 0-1, 4.98 ERA. Guardians, with Shane Bieber, with his 2.91 ERA, 17th in the league with runs scored, while the Royals are, down in the cellar. Guardians have the hitting advantage, pitching advantage. I like him here in this spot.
Yeah, I don't like them enough to necessarily play them here. I think I think the price is just too high. They're locked in to their spot, so I'll go over in this game with these two pitchers. I mean, I think Castillo will probably get rocked. Cleveland could obviously win, but I don't think they're totally going to be overly focused here and playing out the string a little bit. I will go over with Kansas City and Cleveland. All right. This is an important game. Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday, the Miami Marlins taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Lopez for the Marlins going up against Peralta for the Brewers. Peralta is minus $1.70 now, and the total 7.
Yeah, Marlins with Pablo Lopez as the starter in his 31 starts this season. He's 10-10, 3.90 ERA, 167 Ks. He's been real good in his last 3 starts. He's thrown 19 innings with just 6 earned runs, only 14 hits and a walk. Brewers are pitching Peralta. He's 4-4, 3.77 ERA. I'm going to go ahead and take those Marlins today. Upset victory.
All right, Mindy is on the Marlins here in that one. Yeah, I mean, Marlins are definitely, they're getting, they're pitching well, but I think they're in a tough spot here. That's the thing that kind of concerns me. I think Milwaukee is a big game, for them. Obviously, they're in a must-win situation. Peralta's been pretty darn hot for sure. Lopez has been pretty strong too. I think it's going to be an under. I think it's going to be a real good game. I think Miami knows they already don't hit very well, but they know they're kind of in a big game here. Funny that Lopez, talk about Miami doesn't hit, but he has gone over in 19 of his 11 starts. But I'm going to go under in this one with Miami and Milwaukee.
Sounds good.
The Tampa Bay Rays with Corey Kluber going up against Houston and Garcia. Garcia minus $1.65, 7.5 under 20.
Yeah, so Kluber gets the ball. He's 10-9, 4.36 ERA. He's 6-3 with a 2.86 ERA against those Astros. Astros are going with Garcia. He's 14-8, 3.81 ERA. He has this itty bitty, teeny tiny 1.96 ERA in his 4 outings here this month. Astros, they've scored a lot of runs, but with Garcia's pitching, I'm going to go with the Astros here in this one today.
All right. Yeah, I don't necessarily mind that. I mean, I think the price is pretty decent too for Houston. Like I said, Tampa Bay is a team that has something to play for. However, if they're interested in trying to jockey for position as they sit right now in 6th, they certainly are within striking distance of Seattle. And of course, if they right now they're set up for a matchup. They're the team that's set up for the matchup against Cleveland, actually. And Toronto, I think, would be playing Seattle as it sits right now. So that I might have had that backwards earlier. I'm going off the top of my head here. But so Tampa Bay, they're the ones playing Cleveland right now. If they move up, they could play Toronto. I don't know. They'd have to go on the road to Toronto. Maybe they're more complacent to stay there. I don't want to go to Toronto, even if I have to play a team that's the wild card team and not the division winner. So that maybe I think I'm going to go with Houston. I think that might be my handicap in this one. With that one, I'm going to agree with you. I think on this one,
we're agreeing.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, throwing the game because I don't want to go to Canada and go through all that. I know, there's no restrictions anymore and all that, but still, All right, the Pittsburgh Pirates and St. Louis Cardinals, free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday. The Pirates and Contreras, Cardinals, and Wainwright. Wainwright, $2 favorite here, 7 over 15.
Yeah, Wainwright, he's a perfect 7-0, 0.55 ERA in his last 7 starts here versus Pittsburgh. The Pirates are going with Contreras, who's 5-5, 0.7. No, I think, you know, I don't know. I think Contreras here, he's probably not going to stay in this game very long. That leads to a Pirates bullpen, which we know is not very good. Only a 4.82 ERA. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Cardinals. I know it's a big money line. Put it here in a parlay. Take a minus 200.
All right, Mindy's going to be on the Cards, and the Cards, they're locked in. I think, yeah, they're locked in to their position as the division champions. So, they're laying a pretty big price here. I think probably just going to have to disagree with you on this one, Mindy. I'll take my chances with the Bucks. I mean, they seem to, hang in there a little bit when you're not expecting them to. I don't know if the Cardinals are totally interested here. In this one, they'll be laying $2. I don't know. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I had those Pirates on the money line like 2 days ago for a premium, and they came through. Look at them go.
Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: Cincinnati Reds and Chase Anderson. Chicago Cubs, Marcus Stroman. The Cubs are $1.85 total, 7 under 35. Starting to also see some 6.5 overs here.
Yeah, so Chase Anderson on the mound for his 8th appearance, 7th start in the season here for the Reds. 2-3, 4.70 ERA, 23 strikeouts in his 23 innings of work this season. Cubs with Stroman, he makes his 25th start. He comes in with a 5-7 with a 3.66 ERA. Cubs won 9 of their previous 10 here. I'm going to go with the Cubs on the money line.
All right. Yeah, I mean, they should crush them right now. They're so hot right now. I mean, real hot, right? Man, 11 out of the last 12 games right now. Look, these guys, Chase Anderson is pitching decent. The ERA under 2 over the last 3 starts. So I think he can come in and at least do a decent job. For the Reds, the under has gone 15, 5, and 2 in the last 22 games overall. And the Cubs have gone 8, 0, and 1 to the under their last 9 games as a favorite. So I'll take the under in Cincy versus the Cubs. Mindy's on those Cubs. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: Arizona Diamondbacks and Zach Davies going up against the San Francisco Giants and Alexander. Alexander, a short favorite here, $1.25, total 8 over 20.
Yeah, so Davies on the mound makes his 27th start for the season. He's 2-5, 4.18 ERA. They pulled Logan Webb, right? So I guess I think I still might have had him in my notes here for whatever reason. But yeah,
I'm though. I'm not sure. Alexander, what's he been up to? Let me see. Go ahead.
Yeah, because didn't they scratch Logan Webb? Did I see that or not?
Oh, is it a scratch? Okay. Yeah, I mean, Alexander in his starts has gone like 5 and 6 innings each time. So
okay. Yeah. So I mean, I created this before they went ahead, and I remember seeing that, I think, as a little crawl across the bottom that they pulled Webb. I was going to go with the Giants. I'll probably go ahead and I'll stick with the Giants here yet today.
I agree, Mindy. I guess we got a consensus play because maybe they just want to see more from Alexander. I mean, he's been absolutely dynamite since he's been in there. Looking at his numbers, I don't think he's given up an earned run in the last couple of starts. But again, I thought he was just an opener in those starts. So I think that's the concern for me. So I didn't know it was a scratch. Maybe I'm.
Yeah, I think they shelved him for the year, I want to say, kind of like how they did with Alcantara. So.
Well, but the Giants are still playing very, very well down the stretch. I mean, they've won 10 of their last 12 games. We know Arizona, pretty awful. I mean, 4-9 in Davies' last 13 starts. So whatever San Francisco is going to do, I mean, their bullpen's been pretty mediocre. I think of late, 3.17 over the last 10 games. That's okay. It's a little bit better than Arizona, certainly. So I think at this price, I'm willing to run a little consensus play on it. I'll take the Giants just because they're hot, playing good ball. hey, I like teams down the stretch that show a little life when there's nothing to play for. I mean, that says something to me. So, free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: Texas Rangers at Los Angeles Angels. Angels minus $1.20. Total 8.5 over 20.
Yeah, so after all of this, I don't have any notes on the Angels. I don't know how I could have missed them, but I don't. So I'll have you go ahead, Ramon, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem there. Like I said, I mean these games we're just mopping up as teams have about 4 or 5 games, left in the season. So originally, so Tucker Davidson is going to be in there for the Angels. Like I said, just about $1.20 right now. Davidson really been getting rocked pretty hard over his last few starts, a 9.45 ERA in his last 3 starts, but Angels still they really, uh, man, 35, 12, and 4 to the under. Their last 51 games is a favorite. Meanwhile, Texas has gone under in 12 of their last 15 games on the road. So at 8.5 over 20, I mean, that's the highest total on the board today. You know me, I've got the under in this one.
Right.
All right, time to talk about my game now because free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: the Chicago White Sox and Lance Lynn. San Diego Padres, Blake Snell. Snell, he's minus $1.50. Yep, maybe even $1.45 right now. And the total 7 under 15.
Yeah, so Lance Lynn on the mound again, 4.16 ERA, Snell 3.47. White Sox really been struggling here as of late, losing 8 of their last 9. Padres just need to keep that momentum rolling, Ramon. They have recently put up 17 runs in their last 3 games. Go Padres, go. I like them.
Yeah, good run. Padres finish, give them credit here, finishing strong, earning their playoff position. Snell has been, he's going to be in there. It looks like I would think in the postseason, he's earned one of the spots for sure. In those road games, he will be. I don't know, maybe the second guy. Maybe it goes Darvish and then Snell. Just depends, I guess, how they wind up the season as well. But I mean, if you just went 1 and 2. I mean, you go Darvish, Snell, and Musgrove. If you get to that third game, we'll see. But I'll go under in this one in a West Coast game with Lance Lynn in there going up against Snell. Mindy goes Padres, and I went on the under. Free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday: Colorado Rockies at Los Angeles Dodgers. The Rockies and Marquez going up against the Dodgers and a Cy Young Award winner, Tyler Anderson. Great year for Anderson, certainly. Not Cy Young worthy necessarily, but man, he's $3 favorite here. The total 8 over 15.
Wow, it's like I hate these big ones, but I still like them. Yeah, so Anderson, 15-4 on the mound, 2.54 ERA, 128 Ks. Marquez, 8-13, 5.12 ERA. We all know Dodgers have the best, record in baseball. I think they'll still beat the lowly Rockies in this one. Put those Dodgers in your money line parlay.
Yeah, World Series or bust, right? If the Dodgers don't win the World Series, it's a disappointing season. So let's just say that right there and say exactly what it means, right? I would think the Dodgers must win the World Series, otherwise it's a huge disappointment. They don't have to win this game though. I think that would almost make the Rockies live if the Rockies hadn't lost a million games in a row or whatever it is. Right now, so they're not looking very good.
No,
they can't beat they can never beat the Dodgers. So I don't know. I don't want to lay $3 either. So I'll go under. I'll go under.
I know.
At least it needs 9 runs to beat me. Did you take run line, Mindy, or did you go say money line? Put it.
I just said money line. Just put it in your money line parlay.
Yeah, no, it's tough, Actually, if you did a lot of these late money lines, you'd actually be doing pretty okay, if I'm not mistaken. These late season money lines with these huge favorites have been okay. Haven't been too. Some of the teams have been disastrous, but in general have
Right.
been a little bit better. Okay, let's get one free Major League Baseball pick for Sunday. Oakland and Caprillion, Seattle and Ray. Ray 255, 7/15. Seattle in that playoff position. Mindy, as I said, they're jockeying for position still right now. Currently matched up against Toronto. If they could get on a little bit of a roll and Toronto were to come back, they could host the games. Right now, Toronto could host the games, but Seattle riding that 4-game winning streak.
Yeah, I'm playing for that, like you said, second wild card spot. I don't know what it is about these Oakland A's, but they just tend to play, Seattle tough. So this is one of those that I do have a little bit of a trouble here playing that, minus 255 here with Robbie Ray. I think he's been, good enough to cover it. But it's one of those. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the under in this one. I'm going to go under 7.
Okay, and I'll lay the run line with the Mariners here. I think a lot to play for. I think you want to get those home games if you can. They're not, totally out of it yet right now. Just a game and a half back of Toronto. They're playing a little bit hot. Yes, Toronto's won a couple of games in a row, but I think Seattle realizes the importance of trying to win these games here. Maybe they keep an eye on that early Toronto game and
and see what's happening.
yeah, Toronto wins. That could because right now it's almost. I know it's a game and a half, and there's only 4 or 5 games. It's almost do or every one of these games is I want to say do or die. They're in the playoffs, but like I said, you don't want to go to Toronto if you don't have to when you can host Toronto. So I'll take Seattle on the run line. All right, the big game. This is the biggest game of the day because not only are they jockeying for the playoff position, but they're jockeying for the division title. And we've seen Atlanta overtake the Mets. They've won the last 2 games now, and the Mets have lost 2 straight. So Atlanta right now 1 game ahead of the Mets currently for that division. Big game tonight. Big game tonight. You got Bassett going for the Mets, Morton for the Braves. Morton's $1.25, total 7.5.
Yeah, I mean Bassett giving up 2 or fewer runs in 4 of 5 starts this month. Morton just got totally shelled in his last start. He gave up 9 earned in 17 innings this year versus the Mets. I know Braves hold that small lead, but I'm going to look for the Mets here to rebound in this situation. I'm going to go with Bassett and the Mets here.
All right, we'll just end the show on a downer. I'm going to go with the Braves. The Braves is a good price. It's a good price. The Braves have moved ahead of them. They've got a little bit of momentum here. I think they can taste it a little bit, and I will take Morton minus $1.30 against the Mets.
Yeah, those NFL spammers are they're persistent today, aren't they?
We'll take care of them. All right, and there's also games though, just to let you folks know. I mean, the 3 games in the NBA, 3 games in NHL. There's international soccer, but that's going to do it for Minnie and I on the morning steam. Hope you enjoyed the show, wrote down the picks, and be back tomorrow, mostly talking about Major League Baseball, Monday Night Football. Should be a good week, Mindy, but let's get some winners today. I know we got some consensus plays up there as well. Don't forget to go on over to our website, tonyspicks.com. There you'll find our premium plays, absolutely our best plays each and every day. Over at tonyspicks.com, click on the All Cappers tab to get signed up. There you find all the cappers over there, including Mindy, including me, and I've got packages up, including a 5-pack in the NFL for the early window of 10 games. I've got 5 plays up for $35 in my 5-pack. Also got a 3-pack of late games, including the Sunday night game, for $30. And Mindy, right now, currently a best bet. And I know you're coming with a little bit more, Mindy,
That's right.
today as well. NFL and some Major League Baseball.
Yeah, my games are in. I just did not put them in a package. I did not have time to do that here before the show. We'll be putting together a Major League Baseball best bet as well, along with another 3-pack. So been hitting pretty strong here in the Major League Baseball here over the last week. For this card today in the NFL, looking for lots of wins. And then definitely catch me and Ramon tomorrow to, so we'll go over Monday Night Football also tomorrow.
Yeah, and there I am on the handicap leaderboard. It says
I do.
6-5 yesterday, but not included in that, Mindy. I did turn in a 5-1 night in mixed martial arts with my combination picks between Bellator and the UFC. So if anybody
Good
wants
job.
to get one of my packages, I was actually 11-6 yesterday. So coming off a pretty strong day. Even that's not football, but still a winning day for my subscribers. Hope everybody was in on those MMA picks yesterday. So, all right. Thanks a lot, Mindy. Great job. Great analysis as always. Thanks for those Major League Baseball picks. For Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.